Alright, welcome guys. So, title of the video. I told myself I was gonna be rich and I became rich. And I don't consider myself as rich, but I have done some pretty cool shit up till now. I'm 19 years old and I've made a lot of money in the last 1.5, 2 years. And I don't wanna be that person who's like, oh yeah, money's everything and that's the only goal you want in life. But I wanted to make this video because I want to give a simple message that you need to stick with things. Okay, you have to be a professional with your own life. There are many people that just simply they have those beliefs, but then they do not act on it. And all that to say, I have my journal that I was writing in about 2 years back, and it's been a while since I've written, but I was just going through my old stuff and I found this, and there's a lot of interesting things in here that I would just write to myself back in the day. And I will give you the story and the backstory of this, but I was going through my stuff and I found this, and I haven't shared this with anybody at all. And you guys are going to be the first person to actually go and see a few things in here. Obviously, I'm not going to share everything, but there are some pretty cool things that would shock your mind, but also the main point of it is there are a lot of mental models in here that I embraced 2 years ago and I live by to this day. That's made me who I am. Now, a bit of a backstory. I was speaking to my employee the other day, or my team member, and she's 39 years old. She's a mother of two, and she was asking me. We were having a casual conversation, and she asked me, "What made you start at such a young age? Like, how have you managed to do this at a young age? You're only 19." And a bit of the backstory that I gave her was I was never really actually in school since the age of since the age of 8, and since like sixth or fourth grade, I was like in competitive swimming, and I never really went to school. In ninth grade, I skipped good 2.5 months. I just did not go, and I would get my attendance, but I was just busy swimming. So she asked me, how don't you feel isolated? And you've been doing this for a while now, but weren't there like weeks, months, or years where you just felt isolated from the world? And as she was saying that, in my mind, I was like, fuck yes, I did. And to this day, there is always going to be a level of isolation. But I also told her it's funny you bring that up because I was just going through this the day before that. And there's a lot of things that I read over here that then also gave me a bigger understanding. And again, came back to my consciousness and made me understand, okay, this is actually the reason, this is why I am where I am. And all that to say, I'm going to share a lot of things in here that nobody's ever heard of and nobody knows of, and I hope this message is inspiring. um, I do wish that some people truly understand the kind of mental models that you can embrace from these things. And I haven't journaled in a while. I hope I am gonna do this more because again, in a year, I want to be coming back to this and reflecting and seeing how exponential time can truly be. To do that, obviously, you have to be a professional. Okay, there are a lot of things that isolated me in terms of me reaching my goal, but there are also a lot of things that isolate me just because I see a lot of people living their lives, and it's just a very stupid way of living. For example, people that cook. If you're cooking and you're also trying to be rich and start your own business, I'm sorry, you are stupid and you're not a professional with your own life. When I say professional, I mean it doesn't just apply to professional set points and professional circumstances. I mean with your life. If you're cooking and you're spending 2 hours a day doing that, you're not a professional. So small things like this also do isolate me from just average people and the normal people, just because, yeah, like they they just don't understand. Some people just don't understand. But all that to say, I'm just gonna like quickly, not quickly. There's a lot of things to read, but I'm gonna dive into what I was speaking about myself. And yeah, this one is from June 7th. Yeah, 7th of June, 2023. So like more than 2 years back. This is when I started my business. This is when I was on my journey and when the isolating journey sort of started. Overwhelming but productive as fuck day. Um, I got into a conversation with my family explaining the model of my business, and man, they think it is a far fetch, and they are right. It does seem a long way and a far journey, but it's definitely not out of reach, for sure. This is me speaking when I'm making absolutely nothing, when I'm 17 years old, just dropping out of high school, and I'm telling myself it's fucking possible. This belief got me to work, and I literally spent the whole day at desk. And yeah, that's one of them. Noted this today. Develop a mental attitude where whenever I am revisiting a past trauma, I own up for that happening. However bad or traumatic or unfair it seems, I take complete responsibility for such a judgment. I have let go of past anger and resentment that is holding me back. Note this today. Look at their emotions, label them, and once you identify it, listen to it deeply and listen to what your emotions and your thoughts are telling you. It's a very, very deep one. Ask yourself, what are you willing to struggle for? What is the pain that you want to sustain? Then, entitlement is the worst thing that one can do to themselves. True self worth is defined by how you feel about your negative experiences and then act to improve on them, being completely honest with yourself. Certainty is the enemy of growth, and uncertainty is the root of all progress and all growth. Let go of the stories that you tell about yourself to actually, and you, okay, let go of the stories you tell about yourself and you free yourself up to actually act, fail, and grow. Then I would also be just grateful. I would write small things like, thank you, God, for my radical responsibility. Thank you, God, for me and being making me the simple identity of a son, a brother, a learner, and an entrepreneur. So it's things like these that you write to yourself that helps you get through the isolating experience of wanting to do something very, very big. Okay, you're gonna have to start speaking to yourself like this. You have to take care of yourself. You have to show gratitude for whatever simple things are there in life. But then also, it is very good and it's very nourishing to just speak to yourself, especially when you have big fucking dreams and you have big ambitions. This is a very, very deep one. Am I stupid or crazy to be working? Sitting at home in front of my computer in my last summer instead of going out and partying and enjoying with many of my school friends? Is it so wrong that I am sacrificing so much fun to keep my peace and build my future? Am I the only one who is just focusing on the length of the tunnel and the light at the other side of it? Am I depressed that I am so isolated, or do I just only give a fuck for only the small important things that I should give a fuck about? Chasing dreams does get lonely. I wish people around me understood why am I doing what I'm doing. It is so wrong to attract the abundance. Is it so wrong to attract the abundance in me while delaying the gratification of it? The abundance mindset is the key, which many either don't believe in or just cannot fathom its possibility. I'd choose sacrifice on any given day if it were to help me get to my goals. And from the way that you can tell from this, these are things that I would just write to myself 2 years back when I was making absolutely nothing. When I started, I was a month or two in, I had absolutely no idea how to run business. I had no idea what to do. I was in my own lost, confused world about all the thoughts and all the emotions. And I would tell myself, like, I will sacrifice whatever it is that I have to get to my goal. And that's the kind of not only urgency, but that's the kind of things that you have to do if you truly want to get to where you want to go. Okay, that's the extreme. And that is why 99% of people just won't get it because they cannot live an extreme. That's their choice. Some of them are stuck, most of them are stuck. And that is actually why I'm here to tell you it's possible. And all you have to do is be intelligent enough and professional enough. Now, when I say intelligent again, you want to sit there and think, what is intelligence? In your mind, you're probably thinking, oh, intelligence means, oh, yeah, this person's just smart. Again, that's a very unprofessional way of looking at things and just judging and defining any opinion or circumstance. When I say intelligence, I define intelligence by actually setting a goal and doing whatever it takes to get to that goal and actually doing it. Intelligence is not the scores or the marks that you get in your fucking classroom. It is the marks or the life that you want, and then you actually do it and you achieve it. That is intelligence. Okay, so be a professional with all of this as well. When I'm saying this, try to understand, like, whatever it is, it all starts with the goal. Exercise judgment correctly. I've talked about this before. And yeah, I would be the kid in the classroom. Since day one, I've been the kid in the classroom who would shout to my teachers or just call them out, not shout, but I would ask them, what am I learning? Does this actually help me in my life? And the smart teachers, there were some that were like, no, you're not learning anything with this. We just have to teach you because we have to. And I would always question. I was exactly that kid who would question it. Why am I learning this? Is this actually going to help me? So I knew from day one, like, if it's not something that I'm going to put my time in and I'm going to learn, I'm just not going to do it. That is also why I chose to leave university. And then you have some people that will say, oh, university is good for networking and all of this stuff. And again, not the type of professional person that I would identify, but that's a fucking unprofessional opinion that people have. Now, let's go deeper. Let's see what else is there. The greater the success, the fewer people you can show it with. And maybe that's true. Right now, I am showing it to you. But again, unless you actually do it, you don't understand what actually goes in the head and the psychological makeup of actually doing it. Loneliness is a tax that you have to pay for a certain complexity of mind. And I would write every single day, just telling myself all of these things. Long before any of this happened, this was when I just started my business. For a good year, it was just me with my thoughts and just doing it, not seeing any results whatsoever, but I was just doing it. Okay. And I would also write about things knowing that the marathon is there. And me looking at this now, it's really good. This one thing that I'm about to share, because I have reached a certain point, and this right here is what made me look. The thing is, I had the mindset from day one. People come to me, they tell me, you're so young, how do you pull this off? Do you think you're lucky? I think yes, I did get a bit lucky, but I always knew I was going to do it because I was never going to stop. I was never going to quit. And once I also did make some relative amount of success, I had the right mental models and the right attitude to sustain it and grow it. Okay, and I will do that. I will keep growing it. There's no way I'm going to lose. It's just not possible. So, another one. As soon as you find success, success can be your number one enemy if you let it defeat you. Success breeds complacency. Never let it be your downfall. There's always a higher mountain to climb, and you really have to push and persevere to climb the next mountain. Constantly challenge yourself and work to defeat the challenge. You must do it every day, and you must have the courage every single day to risk, make mistakes, risk failure, and risk being absolutely humiliated. Look forward, not backward. You are the size of your problems. Pray for discernment, the ability to judge well. No man is hurt but by himself. Nothing can work me or damage me but myself. This is the kind of headspace that you're in. You're in your own world. And there's a lot that I've written as well. Once I went to university, I was in a new country, everybody around me, everybody's trying to be social, trying to meet people. You can get carried away, everybody's drinking, partying, having fun. And you're just in a new place. You can have so many more experiences. You can just do so many things. But I would still be here in my fucking college dorm room and I'd be writing because I cared about just one thing and one thing only, getting to my goal. And along that way, I had everybody tell me, as you can see from what I said earlier as well, that it's just not going to happen. Like, how can you dream like this? And then now people come and tell me, how did you know this was going to happen? And now that I look at it, this is exactly the answer to those questions. This is exactly how it happened. These are the thoughts that I would tell myself. And then fruit to reality. Quick water break. Normally people would edit this part out, but I do what I want. This watch is bothering me, by the way. $12,000 on my wrist. This pisses you off, get your money up. The best day of your life is when you realize that nobody is coming to save you. God has made this happen. All the things that I have had to go through in the last 4 hours. Learn it the hard and real way. I don't know what happened exactly in those 4 hours, but yeah, just a little Another one right there. Let's see. There's one more that I did want to quickly cover. There's a lot more actually here that I could just go on and on about, but my handwriting is pretty fucking shit. I like to write fast, even if it's a bit inaccurate because I'm more of a speed guy than I'll do it 100% properly. But yeah, there's a lot. I had a feeling of loneliness today. Then I reminded myself that you just have to embrace it and learn everything that comes with the sacrifice. Okay, you are meant for great things and don't let anybody exercise their will and tell you otherwise. This is that lonely headspace, where everybody else will try to exercise their will on you. You just have to be there and be like, no, like you do not get to tell me and confine me into this box and restrain me into what I think I am. Okay, I can be whatever the fuck I want to be. Won't stop until I have to depend on absolutely nobody for my survival. Be the provider instead. Complete and utter responsibility and freedom. Right now, I depend on my father, but soon I will be capable enough to take care of him, give him the life of his dreams. And I'm very, very close to that. Like, take anybody in India at my age, and fuck the age as well. They're not making as much as my agency does, okay? And that's for a reason. Because I care about just one thing and one thing only. You will see all these other agency owners in this country, but I promise you, their agency is nowhere near the level that my agency is at. And my agency is fucking nowhere, all right? So I'm very close to this. This is 2 years back. This was back in 19th of September 2023. So almost 2 years back. And it's a fucking marathon. Okay. This is that lonely headspace. And I am still in this phase. Okay. I'm still in this phase, but I at least now get to connect and share this with you because I have done something worth sharing my intelligence with because I've actually done it. Okay. I've done it and I've reached somewhere and now I can finally share this. And I'm close. I'm very close. And it's going to take a few more years, which is fine because I knew from the start that it's going to be a marathon and there's always going to be a mountain to climb. Okay. That's the headspace that you're going to be in for years and years on end. You have to just put your head down and do it. Right. I'm just 2 years in from writing this, but there's going to be a lot more in the next year, even the next 6 months, which I'll just come back to and be like, wow. So this is how the last 6 months have been. This is how exponential my timeline has gone through. And yeah, that's pretty much it. There's a lot more, but I think this was very worthwhile input or whatever it is. You can just dive into my mind here. And I haven't shared this with anybody, but all that to say, you can do it. Like you can fucking do it. Um I am getting a bit emotional when I just go through all of this, but you can fucking do it. You can absolutely do it. And all that to say, like, when you set a goal and you want to do something, just don't let people tell you what to do. You're probably young, like me. I'm, I'm hoping I have a young audience. Even if you're old, the world is yours still. Okay, there's this huge misconception in the world, and I think there's some scientific bullshit that backs this claim that as you turn 25, your brain just solidifies and you cannot change. And if that's really the case, how did Ray Kroc build a fucking multinational empire in his 50s or 60s? He did that. I tell this to old people as well. It's not just the young guys. You can still do whatever it is that you want to do. You just have to set out on it and know what you get into when you're doing it. In those 2 years, I do have some really good friends, and I am in touch with a lot of my friends from back in the day as well. Okay, there's different sides to everybody's life. Okay, even this that I'm showing you, there's everybody, all the gurus as well. Everybody you see online, they have a side with their personal life, their family life that they won't show you. Okay, but my point is, in those 2 3 years or even like 5 6 years, like you just have to do it knowing that you're gonna fail a lot on the way, but it doesn't matter as long as you have yourself, and that's very liberating. That's the kind of confidence that you can just take with you anywhere in life. Nothing can defeat you then, because when you first started out, that's the hardest part, because everybody around you is gonna be in disbelief. you are also going to have a lot of doubts. And I'm telling you, everybody has doubts. Even I have doubts to this day. Even the best of the best entrepreneurs have doubts to this day. But the one thing that defines it is how you deal with it, not the actual doubts itself, not the actual failures itself. So that's what I ask. I mean, that's what I answer when people ask me, how do you do this at such a young age? How did you actually manage to do this? Did you ever think on the way that you wouldn't? And I had those doubts. Those thoughts are normal. It's okay to think like that. But this right here, this is what I would tell myself as I'm going through the journey, as I'm going through every single thing that's happening. And I remember having a lot of lows, but the best thing is having those lows and not having anybody else that can get you out of it but yourself. Because when you do that, you can truly get over anything in life. Like nothing can break you. That's confidence. That is true inner self confidence. And I promise you, as soon as you start seeing momentum, it's game over for your enemies. It's game over for them. Like you're gonna go so high in life because you catch that momentum, and then it's like, okay, I went through this dull, dark phase of my life where I was just completely isolated with my own thoughts. Not a lot of people around me knew the kind of size and the kind of dreams and the reality that I'm trying to create for my life. And you go through all of that for months and months on end. And then when you finally get out of it, you look back and you're like, okay, I did this. There were a lot of those in that life where I had to get myself out of it, nobody else. I would share some thoughts, and there were some really good friends that would help me get through it, for sure. But there were also a lot of times where you have to just do it by yourself, and then the next day you wake up and you're working again, and then you again just face failure, and that happens for weeks and months on end. The reason I'm going over all of this, which are years back, is because it's a fucking marathon, okay? And all that to say, I was in exactly the place that you are in right now. Your life circumstances might not be the same. I got dealt a very good hand. I'm never ever going to say that I've come from nothing and I'm self made. I am partially self made. Everything that I do right now, it's on my own. I start my business on my own. And my employee, actually, the same one that I was speaking about earlier in this video, she asked me as well, like, how did you know from the start it was this business and this business model? And I've talked about this in the previous videos where I just critically think. I'm a professional. I professionally think about what my goals are and what I want my life to look like. And then I'll do absolutely everything in my power to get there, as long as it fucking takes. Okay, so I knew from that day itself, and you're probably not in that same circumstance. I was dealt really nice hands. This house, I'm living in a fucking amazing house out here on the 33rd floor. I have a really nice view. I am blessed that my parents are able to give me this. And all that to say, look, there's levels to the levels, but the point is your circumstances aren't as important as your thoughts and your emotions. And all of this in here, this is probably what you're thinking right now. These are probably the thoughts, the doubts, the fears that you have in your mind right now. And I was here. That's the message I'm trying to give you. I was over here. I was in the exact same place you were. But you have to understand, many people are just not professional with their life, and their opinions are just not professional. So you don't want to listen to a lot of people. Okay, you may look at me also and think I have some unprofessional opinions, which I'm fine with. Okay, and the end of the day, I'm here to just simply give one message, and according to your one goal, which is to make your reality, define it, and then achieve it. Okay, that's intelligence. So I'm here to depart and give you my intelligence or my wisdom upon you, because I am somewhat intelligent, not at all really intelligent. I think there's a lot more to go, but I have done something worthwhile where I can just share and speak about now. So, all that to say, I wish you the best of luck, and I truly do hope that you take this video to heart, you understand what it's about, what it's really about, and you get through this, and you're brave enough and you're strong enough to actually go and fucking conquer. So I'll see you guys in the next video.